Foretelling text messages, the silence of the lambs inspiration, bizarre tirades, and piano drops. 2.5 Men's ending isn't as simple as you'd think. In Of Course He's Dead, Walden receives a text from Charlie, which is a lengthy rant against him. This rant contains plenty of strange comments, including the phrases bayonets of truth, an army of assassins, and allusions to Charlie's tiger blood. Many of these phrases are taken almost verbatim from comments Charlie Sheen made following his departure from 2.5 Men. The bayonets of truth line is likely meant as a parody of Sheen's live tour, Fastball, my violent torpedo of truth/defeat is not an option, announced shortly after his contract termination with CBS. The army of assassins he threatens Walden with is a reference to Sheen's previous comments on a media show where the actor claimed the following: "There's a new sheriff in town, and he has an army of assassins." The line about Charlie's tiger blood is an obvious riff on Sheen's now infamous interview with ABC News. After discussing his past use of alcohol and drugs, Sheen said, "I just have a different constitution, I have a different brain, I have a different heart, I got tiger blood, man." Charlie's text to Walden calling him a troll may also be a reference to Sheen's past comments about Jon Cryer after his dismissal, in which he referred to Cryer as a troll among other names for not defending him from CBS and Chuck Lorre. In part 2 of the finale, Alan and Walden go to the police to ask for their assistance. While meeting with Police Lieutenant Wagner, the two provide a summary of the entire series in a meta-dialogue. After Walden underscores just how dangerous Charlie's rage is, Wagner asks the duo if Charlie ever tried anger management. This leads Alan to quip,
"Yeah, but it didn't work."
This joke is a dig at Charlie Sheen's FX series Anger Management, which he worked on after 2.5 Men. The premise of the series was meant as a somewhat self-aware meditation on Sheen's own rage issues, with the actor playing a former baseball player whose career comes to an end because of his uncontrollable anger. The sitcom was Sheen's first acting role after 2.5 Men and was meant as his return to TV after his fallout with Chuck Lorre. While Anger Management ran for a healthy 2 seasons, it earned mixed to negative reviews from critics. Some unfavorably compared it to Sheen's previous sitcom role. Shortly after its 100th episode aired, the show was cancelled by FX, leading to Alan's joke in 2.5 Men's final episode. At the start of Course He's Dead, Rose is shown preparing a meal and descending into her basement where a large pit is seen in the middle of the floor. Placing the meal into a basket and lowering it into the hole, she tells the unseen character, who she refers to as It, to eat the meal she prepared and to change his clothes. Of course, it's revealed that it's Charlie in the pit. When Charlie appears reluctant to do either of Rose's requests, she threatens to spray him with a large fire hose until he complies. The entire scene is meant as a direct parody of the Academy Award-winning film The Silence of the Lambs. In that film, the serial killer antagonist, known as Buffalo Bill, keeps his victims in a large pit located in his basement, very much like Rose's own pit in 2.5 Men. Buffalo Bill also takes to addressing his victims with the dehumanizing It and threatens to spray them with a hose should they disobey him.
"It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again."
The influence Silence of the Lambs has on the finale doesn't stop there either. During the finale's animated flashback sequence, Rose is seen transporting Charlie from Paris on a metal gurney, with Charlie restrained via a straitjacket and muzzle. This is the exact same manner that Anthony Hopkins' iconic serial killer, Hannibal Lecter, is transported. Halfway through the finale, a montage shows several women from Charlie's past receiving personal apology letters and large checks in the mail. 3 of these 4 women played larger roles earlier in 2.5 Men, 2 of whom Charlie even came dramatically close to marrying in the series' initial seasons. During this montage, viewers see Charlie's former girlfriends, Mia, Chelsea, and Dolores Pasternak. Mia was a ballet teacher who Charlie fell in love with in season 3 of 2.5 Men and became a regular romantic interest for Charlie from seasons 5 through 7. She was also his fiancée for a short time in season 3, although Charlie decided to break off the wedding after Mia tried kicking Alan and Jake out of the house. Chelsea was Charlie's girlfriend throughout season 6, eventually becoming his fiancée in season 7. Their engagement was impacted by a number of personal issues and side romances on both of their parts, resulting in Chelsea breaking up with Charlie in the end. Introduced in season 2, Dolores Pasternak was one of Jake's teachers, who Charlie similarly dated for a short time. The character went on to appear again in season 6 and season 7, although she was played by a different actor. All 3 women were also featured at Charlie's funeral service in the opening moments of season 9. Alongside Charlie's past romantic interests, several old flames of both Alan and Walden are also featured in Of Course He's Dead. As they anxiously await Charlie's vengeance, each of them dials up some of their long-running significant others. For Alan, this includes ex-girlfriend Lindsay and his two ex-wives, Judith and Candy. For Walden, this includes ex-wife Bridget and ex-girlfriend Zoe. All of these women played big roles during 2.5 Men. Before the events of the series, Judith and Alan maintained an unhappy marriage with each other. Their subsequent divorce caused Alan to move into Charlie's beach house in the pilot episode. Candy was one of Charlie's many one-off girlfriends in Season 3 who later dated Alan, becoming his second wife soon after. They divorced in Season 4, with Candy enjoying a successful career as a television star. Lindsay was Alan's on-again, off-again girlfriend during the final few seasons of the series, reluctantly becoming engaged to Alan after seeing the massive ring Walden purchased on Alan's behalf. Bridget was Walden's wife prior to his debut on the show, divorcing him because of his supposed immaturity. However, she once again developed feelings for him after the divorce was finalized. After the end of his marriage to Bridget, Walden then becomes attached to Zoe, but the two break up when Zoe learns of Walden's romance with Rose in Season 10. Along with the several sizable checks he sends to his ex-girlfriends, Charlie also mails a check to Jake for $250,000. Likely, Charlie giving Jake such a large amount of money is meant to reflect his general warm feelings toward his nephew. Much of the earlier seasons of 2.5 Men find Charlie and Jake bonding in a variety of pastimes together. Taking his young nephew under his wing, Charlie also encouraged Jake to learn from his own mistakes in life and avoid repeating them. As Jake grew older and became increasingly distant from his father and uncle, Charlie was seen to treat him less warmly than he had in previous seasons. Still, he admitted to harboring a fond place for Jake a few times as the show went on, usually when he was inebriated. Charlie sending Jake money illustrates that he still holds some love for his nephew, leaving their relationship on a high note in the finale.
Okay, you got me.
After receiving Charlie's check for $250,000, Jake tells Alan and Walden that he stopped at Las Vegas before visiting them, winning a total of $2.5 million from playing craps. In many ways, this might appear like a throwaway joke meant to provide Jake a fitting epilogue for his character, but it also ties greatly to his relationship with his uncle Charlie as well. In the early seasons of 2.5 Men, Charlie was shown teaching Jake various adult activities, such as poker. From Jake watching his uncle play Texas Hold'em with his friends, to the two of them betting on sports games together, Charlie instructed Jake on all the subtleties of gambling from an incredibly young age. As an adult, it makes sense that Jake learned to become an effective enough gambler to increase his winnings from $250,000 to $2.5 million. One of the more unique aspects of Course He's Dead is the meta-aware comedic style of the finale. Over the course of the episode, numerous jokes are made about the show's content, the ludicrousness of its central storyline and its characters, and the real-life drama surrounding former star Charlie Sheen's behavior in his personal life. There are even a handful of moments where the actors address the audience members, regularly breaking the fourth wall. The creator of 2.5 Men, Chuck Lorre, has discussed the more self-referential humor that the finale employed with Entertainment Weekly. There, Lorre said that the comedic style of Course He's Dead was meant mostly as a way for the show to conclude in a humorous way. The showrunner said, "It was our last swing at that bat. Why not throw the rules out and do everything we can imagine that might be funny and acknowledging the meta elements of the show?" Lorre also said that he felt the show didn't warrant a more emotional undertone, as there was no central storyline imparted from the beginning of the show that could be effectively wrapped up with its conclusion.
You're right. I'm the governor of California.
The final scene of 2.5 Men sees Charlie meeting his premature end after a piano crushes him. While Charlie's character here is played by a body double and his face never revealed to the camera, it was initially planned for Charlie Sheen to return to 2.5 Men as a special guest star for the finale. In an interview with EW, Chuck Lorre said that he and CBS had tried reaching out to Sheen to negotiate his return for Of Course He's Dead. However, as Chuck Lorre said on his trademark vanity card for the episode, Sheen wanted the show to end on a more cathartic note. He wanted to leave open the possibility of a spin-off series starring himself and John Cryer titled The Harpers. With Lorre wanting to maintain a more lighthearted tone for the finale, he refused, and the negotiations between himself and Sheen soon fell apart. Per Lorre's vanity card for the episode, the initial plan was to have Charlie turn to the camera and deliver a monologue about the dangers of drug use. Over time, Charlie's speech would devolve into a bizarre tirade about how he was a ninja warrior from Mars and was invincible, until his speech was cut short when a piano crashes on top of him, as it does in the finished finale. Chuck Lorre's physical presence and his subsequent death in the finale can be eyebrow-raising for some viewers. However confusing and meta Lorre's appearance in the show is, though, Lorre has since justified his cameo at the end of the episode, as well as elaborating on the reasoning behind his on-screen demise. Chatting to Entertainment Weekly, Lorre said that the piano falling on both of him and Charlie is meant as an illustration of their rocky relationship and the effect it had on the series. In Lorre's eyes, his feud with Sheen ultimately led to the show's steady decline as 2.5 Men went on without Sheen there to headline the show. The two pianos falling on both of them were therefore intended to be symbolic, with Lorre saying, "It felt like the funniest and most succinct way to end the damn thing," and dropping the second piano also felt like an appropriate response. Perhaps nobody wins, but hopefully we laughed along the way.